You'd fucking get that. Come on, you're slacking on me, buddy.
I'm slacking, man. I was just thinking about so many other things, like why are they so young?
But you like
It almost sounds like you're bitter about that.
So the hockey stick guys knock down Bethany, and they're like, "Aha, we'll get you." Click, 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 click with the sticks.
Very ominous, that clicking, actually.
Very ominous. Well, did you notice that it's like buzzing bees?
Mm.
I thought that was cool as well. I kind of like that. The little sound effect.
Very simple, but like it worked.
So, thankfully, Jane, Silent Bob are here to save today. Snooch to the motherfucking nooch! And they bust those bad guys. Fat one. They went, "Grr, get out of here, guys." She gets rightly freaked out and has some pepper spray and starts spraying it. But no, it's okay. Jane, Silent Bob, they were here to save the day. They basically tried to kick the shit out of like 3 teenagers as far as they were aware. But they were like, yeah, we kicked their asses. So afterwards, they go to a lovely diner. What I like about this, though, is that they're hanging around an abortion clinic to pick up chicks. Because only sluts would be getting an abortion.
Yeah.
They were like, "Hey, we're totally behind, like, we're totally pro-choice." It's like, "What are you doing around here?" It's like, "Yeah, we're here to pick up chicks because, sluts and abortions, basically." I was like, oh, number 1, problematic scene.
Yeah, well, look, this is the thing with Jane, Silent Bob, though. They start off going, "Oh, that's actually quite a nice thing," or "You're fine, it's all good," and then it's like, "Oh, you're an asshole." But there's something about Jay character, especially, that you're just kind of like, "Oh, you,"
But what is that? Because literally in the next scene, they're like, "So when are you going to fuck us?"
Yeah.
So when are you going to fuck us? Basically, like, up until the end.
Totally fine. I mean, if that was anyone else, normal woman would be like, "Okay, I got to get out of here fast. We're leaving like right now." She lets him go for quite a while.
Yeah. He's actually not like that's what I'm saying. That was I don't think a lot of people realize that. Like in real life, like Jay isn't like Jason Mewes is not like he doesn't have that like foul-mouthedness about him. Like that was all Kevin Smith wrote, but it's just how he performed the piece that people just. And that's funny because that's how he got a lot of his movie roles in other movies, like because people thought he was like that, but he wasn't at all.
Well, I think it's because he's so hilarious, but if you think about it, what redeeming factors does the guy have? Like, the both of them aren't... I think Silent Bob is probably the morally good guy, but still he's pretty... They're like anti-heroes, if I was to describe them. Accidental anti-heroes. Because they didn't even mean to try and help her. She didn't even... Like, as soon as she mentions God, they're like, "Oh, no!" So,
I think the thing about Jay and Silent Bob is, like, I think they're essentially harmless, and
they're not gonna rape you, but if you want to have sex with them,
that's it. Like, they talk a lot, but I think essentially that they're harmless, and it's not coming from a malicious place.
Yeah.
It's innocent misogyny.
Yeah. It's a very fine line. Like,
it's a very fine line. We all try and skate that line every day of our lives, right? Women, ladies, you know what I'm talking about. So actually, there's a lot of demeaning lady things in this as well, with Azrael like patting her on the head and calling, what Alan Rickman calling her a little girl. I was like, ooh. So we get the next shot of the guy from Clerks, the other guy from Clerks. What's his name?
I have his name here. Sorry, I'll tell you now. He's with Jeff Anderson. He plays
Jeff Anderson. Ooh.
Gun salesman.
I love the way he's like, yeah, you can buy this gun, They basically turn around and is like, this is not like a flaming sword. How am I meant to kill all the heathens with this kind of thing? And the guy's like standing there going, okay. They were talking about like how they basically smote everybody in Sodom and Gomorrah. Do you know about that story? I'm going to go on a little tangent.
Oh God.
So
I should have warned people before this movie was
You
started.
should have, you should. You didn't. That was your mistake.
Hey, no, it's cool. It's a learning experience. It's fun.
Okay.
So,
If you say so, Jimmy.
It is fun. So, Job, yeah? I think it was Job. It is Job. Hang on a second. I've started off really badly. Sodom and Gomorrah.
JB's Religious Corner, episode 1.
Yeah.
So, it is Job, isn't it? No, it's not. What's his name?
This could be a long...
Oh, no, it's Abraham. Abraham, of course, not Job. So Abraham, okay? Abraham's living in either Sodom or Gomorrah. I really hope it was Gomorrah because he would have had a sore bottom if he lived in the other one. And God's angels came... I'm giving a really rough story of this, but the ending is funny. God's angels came down and they went to Sodom and Gomorrah. Either one of them. Again, I can't remember. So, went to one of them and Abraham wanted to bring the angels in because everybody in Sodom and Gomorrah were trying to run after these beautiful men. Abraham brought him into his house and then all the people were beating down the door because they basically wanted to have sex with these beautiful angel men. And Abraham was like, no, I have some beautiful virgin daughters in here you can have. Leave these poor angels alone. And yeah, that's the story. I always thought that was quite funny. Poor Abraham trying to give up his own daughters for the sacred angels. Moving on. We have the scone scene where she's eating a bit of a scone and Jane, Silent Bob are absolutely wanting to get down and dirty with her. What does he say? Because is it true chicks fart if you blast them in the ass?
Classic guy. I'll leave that one to you, Darren.
And this is why Jay and Silent Bob are so funny.
Can we get back to when you were saying they run a fine line?
They do run a fine line, but do you know what? There's nothing malicious about that either.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's just a genuine question.
So weird about it.
I love it because they say the most inappropriate things, and I'm like, yes, that broke up that moment right there. I love that part of it. So she has to follow them to New Jersey. They need to go to New Jersey. They have like this cool chat about 16 candles and
John Hughes.
John Hughes about like them going, they were like, yeah, there was like this film where nobody in this town was dealing drugs. And I was like, yeah, let's go to this place. But there is no such place as, what is it?
Sherman in Illinois.
There is no Sherman, Illinois. That fucking John Hughes lied to us. So good. And what was he saying? The Breakfast Club and all those kids actually attended.
Summed up the fucking intention.
So she decides that she has to go with Jay and Silent Bob to New Jersey, and they take a car, and Jay drives, but he doesn't know how to drive.
He has no idea how to fucking drive. What gear?
Well, I think gear. But I think that's because most cars in America are like automatic gears, right?
Yeah.
They don't have a stick shift.
Drive reverse, yeah. Like I ever drove before.
So yeah, blows the car. Then we go straight to Ben Affleck and Matt Damon on the bus. Which again, I think this is a pretty good part. Them having a philosophical debate as to, sin and how sin changes and how the big sins basically don't change and they always stay the same. And then they kind of have a debate as to whether Matt Damon can spot someone that's sinful, effectively. Spots a guy getting off with his lady friend and asks them if they're married. And then obviously they haven't been married. So then Matt Damon has to shoot him. with like a gun in the head. So why?
It's just, I think it's just another one of those things you have to just accept in these movies. You really just like it was.
I get it. He's like trying to. He's trying to.
It's just the point, but I mean, he's just that's like Ben Affleck says. I'm not trying to insinuate. I'm flat out telling you. So obviously, it's like, right, fuck you too, bang. But if you just shot your man, would you not shoot everyone else? Because obviously more sinners on that bus.
I was thinking, like, why do you let all those people go?
He's just proving the point, though, because I think that was it. It was simply to prove that point in that argument at that time.
Why does God have this person or angel that just goes around murdering people?
I mean, it's good to have someone to keep your hands clean, right?
Right. Yeah, it's like a mob boss. The Godfather. Oh, coincidence, right? So the bus swerves off, and then whose head? Ron's head. Then who's that? Martin.
Brilliant.
Again, I've never heard that song before. What is that song?
That's just Ben Affleck and Matt Damon having fun. That was like totally added, I'd say.
Martin. So we get back to the guys hanging out on the bridge, and the car is still broken down. Jane Silent Bob, kind of pissed now. She'll probably never have sex with him. And then we get Chris Rock slamming down into the ground. I would have liked to see an imprint in the concrete. That's just me. Also, why is he bollock naked?
But what I don't get is why did they have to show that angle?
It's not it. He's a pretty good ass. He's a pretty good butt. Does Chris Rock? It's Rock. Hard.
Nothing against his ass, but dude, you don't have to like show me that angle. I mean, show me from a side view, and I would have seen his.
Yeah, you know what? But Jade also doesn't have to ask, like, you know, do girls fart when you blast them in the ass? You know, there's nothing in a Kevin Smith movie that's off limits. Like,
I totally agree with you. I totally suppose some things you just have to.
It was a serious moment that had to be broken up by complete stupidity, and that was there. You go.
Okay.
Rufus is the 13th apostle.
Yeah.
Rufus.
But I don't know why he was like. You know what you were saying? I thought Chris Rock fit perfectly in this movie. Like he had in the world being in this movie, but I think he fit perfectly in it. To move
I didn't think it was that great in this film, to be honest. I thought it was okay.
I really enjoyed him in it. I thought he was great. I'm not a big Chris Rock fan at all, but I just loved him in this movie.
Yeah, well, no, I do like Chris Rock. It's just that he's grand. Like, he's some really good bits, and again, like I said, some funny parts in it. I'm just like, he just kind of is in it for a bit. In my whatever.
Nothing stand out.
Yeah, nothing standoutish really. It's just kind of there. And then at the end, his whole point of being in it is just like, there's no point in him being there, really. He only came down to do something that really didn't happen in the end. So, it's just a good excuse to have Chris Rock in there, I think.
Of course it is. That's a Kevin Smith
trademark. So they all go walking. Hey, it's like the Wizard of Oz. They're all picking up people, right?
What's he say
to last week?
He walks on Jason Musical to attack and says, "Back off, Kato."
Back off, Kato. It's like, we don't have to walk there. It's like me and Jesus used to walk everywhere. Didn't have cars back then.
You ever seen
the hockey guys?
Apostle? What's an apostle?
Apostle. You get the hockey guys and they rip through the time-space continuum. And I thought that was kind of cool. I like that. And then the flap as they get in waves. I'm like, okay, good attention to detail there. Back to Jason Mewes. And he's basically pissed off that they haven't gotten to kill Bethany yet. So he has to come up... Jason Lee, yeah. So he has to come up with a monster. The Golgothan. Isn't it? The Golgoth. Yeah. Straight over to movies.
Is this a real thing?
No.
Okay.
No. Well, okay, so there's a place called Golgotha, and that's where Jesus died. But this demon that he says that all of the people that were crucified, all of their piss and shit and blood and everything drained down and made this monster, which I have a feeling is a thing, but I don't know if it's called that.
It actually sounds kind of familiar now that you say that.
I think it is a kind of a demon, but I don't think that's its name because I don't know.
It's a good idea. I have to say it's a great idea.
I have no fault with that. It sounds very Christian.
Yeah.
You know, like a very disgusting, like, this is the evils of Lucifer. All the putrid horror from, you know, the crucifixion of Christ.
From Jesus himself.
If you've ever been to a Catholic mass, it sounds pretty much like that.
DOGMA. But you know what? I did, even though the guy got to, like, your man stand up the effects of the whatever came up at that fucking toilet and stuff. Like, I don't mind the fact that the effects weren't fucking amazing. I still think it was cool. I think it was cool, but I think you can forgive it because it was this type of movie.
I forgive it.
But then you do see the effects were like that are good. Where obviously, like, we're talking about the wingspan and stuff. Like, there's some good effects and then there's some really shit effects.
Oh, crap joke, dude.
And not just a pretty face.
No, you're not. You're also a pretty hairstyle. I love your hair. So where they're in movies and they're having a bit of lunch, and this is where Chris Rock goes on his rant that Jesus, he and Jesus are the only black people in the Bible, and everybody else is white boys.
I got left out, but you got 12 other white boys to choose from.
It's like, yeah, but Jesus was black. It's like, yeah, but what are you going to do? It's the Son of God. You're just going to make him a white boy.
It's hard to have a New Testament without him. You change, you put a spin on his ethnicity.
Yeah.
Everything's okay.
And she goes like, I've gone to Sunday school like loads of times. I've never heard of a 13th apostle. So
it sounds ridiculous though. The 13th apostle.
What is it actually? I'm about to go to the scene with Selma Hayek, but before I do that, what's the Chris Rock goes to leave and turns around to Jay turns around and goes, okay, if you're like if you're an apostle, you could tell me something that nobody else knows. Like, you masturbate more than anyone else in the world. It's like most of the guys and most of the time you're thinking of guys. It's like, yeah, and girls, dude. So good. So now we have Selma Hayek. Lovely Selma Hayek. What age is she now?
She is 42. No. I'll tell you exactly. Give me 1 second. She is 54 years of age.
Holy moly. So she was like 23 or 33?
30 odd, yeah, 32.
She is still as, if not more famous than she ever was now. She's constantly working, man. She's fucking amazing. I
don't think I've ever seen her in anything, and her acting was horrible in this. But you know, hey, whatever. It's like she reminds me of your one from Modern Family.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, don't.
Yeah.
So whatever it is.
So I like this part. Jay and Silent Bob are basically duking it out with this like black gang.
Oh, lads, this is my favorite. With the money, and he's like,
yeah. Chris Rock's face. If you're watching Twitch, Chris Rock's face is the best. Why isn't this some sort of a meme already? he's doing like a what's his name? Neil deGrasse Tyson. Whoa. So the black gang with a Spanish guy in there, I believe, are like forking up some money, and then Jay and Silent Bob fork up some more money, and then the black gang fork up some more money, and then no, they win out. Sorry, Selma Hayek goes for the low sum of $4 or like $8.
No, tens. I thought it was like tens, like $40. I thought
was it tens? Was it?
I think, maybe I was concentrating too much. Let's be honest with you.
American money all looks the same. It's like green. Yeah. It's all green paper to me. Yeah. Fiat currency.
Well, but even with Salma Hayek in that movie, like wearing that, like that's fair play to Kevin Smith. That's all I'll say.
Fuck Kevin Smith. Fair play to Salma Hayek.
Thank you.
Damn, girl.
Apparently,
very good.
these movies, they didn't get paid a whole lot. Like they all did it for Kevin, because they're all
Well, she
great
at least
friends.
got $4.
Well, that's Well, at least that. Jesus, yeah.
Okay. There you go, love. So, after the sexy Selma Hayek scene, we're into movies, and Matt Damon and Ben Affleck have made their way into the executive office of the movie executives. And this is kind of the first stage of where they wanted to go until they go to the church to walk through the arch and get all their sins repented and all that kind of stuff. So he starts going around basically pointing at people saying, oh, you did this, you're a horrible person because of this, you got your girlfriend pregnant and then paid a guy to sleep with her and then broke up with her when she admitted. I was like, oh my god, there's a lot of thought put into that insult. There was a guy that slept with an 11-year-old boy, and that was kind of skipped over briefly. Yeah. Comparing that to putting your mother in a third-rate nursing home.
But then, no, but I'm going to go to the end of that scene, but there's no point. So you're getting there.
No, pretty much. And then turns to the woman and goes, "You, on the other hand, you've lived a great life.
Yeah, you've lived a good life. Yeah.
Except for you didn't say bless me when I sneezed." I love that part. And I love, see, that's a cool little thing, because it's not an instant callback. That actually happened like 5 or 10 minutes before, pretty much in the same scene. But I like it. It's a cool little callback.
Yeah.
Also, did you notice one of the posters behind it had a poster of like one of those anteaters, and it was called Enoch? I don't know. That's a Bible character.
I didn't.
There you go. So Matt Damon then turns around to the executive and then goes, "Oh, but you, Mr. Whitland," and then whispers in his ear. And then he's like, "Oh, God." And he's like, "And you're his father." I was like, what? Who are they talking about?
Yeah, see, that's like, I'm thinking, did he like rape his son, or did he fucking do like?
No, but I thought it was
that's
like
the dark place that you go to. But I thought they already,
I didn't.
Like...
I thought it was like, you're a really famous shit. It's like, you're Andy Dick's father. Shame on you. That kind of a thing. Like, you're the father of a horrible actor, probably. But yeah, you took it in a dark place, Darren.
Yeah,
how much darker could it have been than sleeping with an 11-year-old boy?
That's what I was saying. Like, you go to the darkest place possible, but they've already kind of done that joke.
That's what I thought, because when he was saying you slept with an 11-year-old boy and blah blah blah, and he said, your man says you have more skeletons than this whole people combined, and he was like, some which I cannot even name. And then obviously when he leant in, your man was like looking at him, and you were his father, you sick. I don't know, maybe I fucked up.
Yeah, and you were his father, you sick fuck.
Yeah.
So
again, I like the acting in this scene. It's almost with these two guys. Like, it's a bit of, like, the funniness with their dialogue is like intellectually funny. It's really, really good. Like, they tell a story, these two boys, when they're actually together, Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. But again, I think their scenes are all the scenes I enjoy the most.
I thought the intellectualness came off as up your own arseness, specifically because, and I probably only kind of realizing it now, is because they only look about 25. And like I was talking about before, I would have liked to see them maybe being aged. Like, imagine Alan Rickman in that role and another Alan Rickman equal in those roles. That would be fucking phenomenal. Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, great actors, came off a bit pretentious and, you know, and like I said, very Kevin Smith. I'm not saying change it, because it wouldn't be very Kevin Smith, but I was just looking at him all the time and I was like, I kind of look older than you. Not one of you have a whisker on your upper lip, guys.
I don't know. I kind of get it, because they're a bit, what's the word? Like, reactive. And I can't even think of the word I'm trying to say now, but they kind of just go overboard all of a sudden. and very sort of emotional responses to things. So I kind of get that they're younger.
I just thought like angels. I didn't think too much about the age thing.
Well, Alan Rickman's an angel.
Yeah, but I know, but I didn't even think the reason I didn't think too much about it. That's obviously I didn't give it too much thought. That's why it didn't bother me as much. But obviously you kind of thought about it. I didn't. Yeah, it didn't bother me. I would love to see Alan Rickman and someone else in that role.
Like I would have liked to see them as older people, but I think this is where movies start to get a lot more younger in actors. In the late 90s, early 2000s, it just you get those roles that were normally by like really famous famous actors in their 40s and 50s, now like 25, 30-year-olds. And again, it's a Kevin Smith film. It's very indie. And that's why it comes off as very indie, and that's why actually, because it's like they had a great role and they were like, "Oh, we know these two really good guys that are our friends that could play it." Instead of being like, "Oh, really putting thought into the characters." Again, not a bad thing, but I'm just saying that's how it feels. It feels like a bunch of friends got together and made a film, which it is. Really famous friends, but still. Yeah. Really, really rich people, but whatever, they're friends. So he's been like whittling this onion down to a little voodoo doll, and he's like, "I don't really believe in voodoo." And he goes, "But if I really thought about it, slam, and
but it's like
he doesn't die."
Wow, it really does look like you, and I'm like, no, it doesn't at all.
Matt Damon, you're blind. Shut up. He walks out of the office and he comes back and basically shoots everybody. Ha! See, this is the thing. All of this direction throughout up until this is nearly more than halfway through the film, all of this direction has just been so simple. So simple. Imagine getting shots in between like crazy face Matt Damon while he's like shooting people and like shocked faces, and then like Ben Affleck sitting outside like flipping through a magazine. It was just so this happens. Like we're literally not going to move the camera from this space. That's where we're going to bring it around the room a little bit. There it is, and now we're on the next scene.
Yeah, I would say most of Kevin Smith's movies though are like self-funded, so he doesn't they obviously wouldn't have had like, a big budget to do like cool.
They had Matt Damon and Ben Affleck in it. They had Alan Rickman, who was very well paid at the time.
Yeah,
no, but like this is it. I won't put it down to. I will not put that down to financial. Like I would have liked a little bit more creativity in the direction side of it. Then the script was great.
The budget was 10 million.
10 million is what the budget was.
So you can take out all the CGI shit with the shit monster, and you've saved it now. Get some more good direction. Get some more cinematography. I want some cool shots of shit happening. It doesn't seem surreal enough for me. In places. Does that make sense?
They cut out like over an hour's worth of footage, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Over a 3-hour movie or something.
Mm-hmm.
So that could explain parts. There's definitely a part later on where I'm like, yeah, they really needed to leave some scenes in there to explain that.
They feel like it's a little bit rushed at the end because even when I was doing all the screenshots, I was like, oh no, wait, that scene goes on for like bam, 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 bam.
Yeah.
And they kind of But like I said, I would have liked a little bit more experimentation with the camera. Just myself, that's all.
Just you.
So, just me. So, we get the shit demon, and Selma Hayek basically explains that God is a woman, and she inspired the people to write the Bible, and also 19 of the most 20 best films of all time. It's like, what about the 20th? Oh, it was about a boy, and then these people tried to get into his house, and yeah, I like that. I like that part as well.
She's like, I had nothing to do with that crap.
Someone had to sell their soul to the devil for that one.
Someone say, you of all people should know it takes more than tits to make a woman. I was like, well done, Kevin Smith. Giving those females something there.
Do you know they're trying to remove Donald Trump from Home Alone 2?
I heard this.
And even Macaulay Culkin wants it done.
I heard that they wanted to put in an older version of Macaulay Culkin, and he was all for that. I don't know that he was all like.
They wanted to put an older version of Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah, meeting himself like.
Yeah. They are rebooting Home Alone, and Ryan Reynolds is writing it.
Are they?
Yeah, that's
okay.
I've
seen his Mint Mobile adverts for his mobile network, and they're funny, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah, okay. Ryan Reynolds can do anything, and I'll forgive him.
Yes, fucking can. He's Ryan Reynolds, goddammit.
So, the shit demon, this is where the CGI happens, and again, not too bad. You know, it's forgivable. It's like 22 years old. It's pretty good for 22 years old,
yeah,
right?
It's mostly puppet or...
Yeah, they use their money wisely, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I really think, like, all the practical effects, even at the end of it with the wings and stuff, is fucking great. Like, brilliant.
So, the Gold Gotham, it's a shit demon.
It is.
Ha 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 ha! Great, cool puppetry. I like the puppetry on it. It's really cool.
What did your man say? I knew I was going to get killed something today.
The black guys all storm the demon, and they do... No, they get destroyed. They get absolutely shit on.
Yeah.
Literally. So, Kevin Smith comes up with a great idea to spray some, what is it, like deodorant or mouth spray?
I think it's like air freshener.
Air freshener?
Yeah.
Knocks out strong odors. So, knocks out the strong odors. They then go, okay, we gotta get on a train and we're gonna go to New Jersey. So, they get on the train and bump into none other than Larry and Barry. Loki and Bartleby. I was like, for a minute, I was like, why did they call themselves Larry and Barry? And up until the scene when Ben Affleck had like that thing to her neck, I was like, oh, B for Bartleby and L for Loki for Larry. Right, I get it. That was funny. Larry and Barry. No?
Come on, Jamie.
I had a chuckle at that. So,
I normally wouldn't get that. You'd fucking get that. Come on, you're slacking on me, buddy.
I'm slacking, man. I was just thinking about so many other things, like why are they so young?
But
it almost sounds like you're bitter about that.
I'm bitter.
But I mean, even the little conversation, like I go back to it again, and it probably means nothing, but I just enjoyed their scenes. Like even the conversation with Ben Affleck in Year One, I think the movie is really cleverly written. It moves at a great pace and stuff.
No, like, it's not, Darren. It isn't, Darren. It's not cleverly written. I'm sorry now, but I will have to put that to rest. It isn't cleverly written. It's written to be sounding like it's clever. It isn't clever at all.
You would know.
It's almost
I would, because that's how I write.
It's almost like Kevin Smith having an argument with himself.
Right.
And then throwing in some jokes in the middle.
It's like I'd find more controversial statements on like a forum on the internet.
Yeah.
The Onion.
You know, like I find smarter rants on Reddit.
But that's like I said at the beginning, it's still very respectful in its treatment of religion. It doesn't cross the line into being controversial or into being offensive. Like
now,
it's questioning.
Argue,
it's not pro-Catholic, it's not pro-atheist, it's very agnostic and questioning.
Which is fantastic. And we can ask whether they purposely dumbed it down because of that. Perfect. That's fine. That's reasonable. But was it the smartest? Like the whole carpenter and the walrus at the start. I was like, oh, that's funny. But I was like, a nun would genuinely never believe that. That's the most stupidest thing I've ever heard. So don't pretend it's like, oh, it's so intellectually sound that a nun would leave the nunnery. I was like, no, that wouldn't happen. It's funny. It ain't smart.
There's solid arguments. There's solid viewpoints and opinions, and they are based on like very legitimate.
Yeah.
Like,
well, then
when there's no opposition.
They're not as in depth as it would have you believe.
Yeah, but there is a disclaimer at the start of it saying that this is not actual fact. It's just to be taken in light.
I'll put it to you this way. It's like Ben Affleck and Matt Damon play it so well that they do come off as intellectual.
It's amazing.
Yeah. It could have been done so wrong where they just sounded like they were trying to be smart, whereas they do sound smart, but they just sound so smart they're up themselves smart. You know, that kind of a way.
And you like those apples.
They're wise and understanding of what they mean because they just seem like young guys trying to be smart. They like if I was to hang around Trinity for a while and just listen to what like all the 21-year-olds are saying about society, you know, I'd be like, yeah, anybody can have that opinion, but does it fucking mean anything? So that's my rant about Ben Affleck and Matt Damon's opinions in this film.
I.e. Kevin Smith's rating.
Wow.
I.e. Kevin Smith. We then have Bethany revealing to Ben Affleck that they're going to New Jersey. Well, they try and get along. They're having a drink together. And she's basically pouring her heart and soul out about how she stopped believing in God because something. What happened to her?
She rang her mom and her mother.
Oh, yeah.
And
that was it.
It didn't make her feel any better, and she lost all.
So she only once says that she got a disease in her womb that was stopping her from being able to get pregnant. This is the part where she says, oh, my mom called to comfort me about, it was just something. And then she said, God has a plan. And I was like, thank you, film. Because guess what you did? You just referenced something that happened at the start of the film, was a very controversial thing to do, because you're making a statement about that controversial statement, but you didn't shove it down her throat. You didn't say, oh, when I got a disease in my womb and can't have children anymore, my mother, she tried to... It was like, she just did a little bit of whoop. And I was like, I got you. I was smart. I like that.
Mm.
That's what makes things smart. That's intelligence. And I like that. So, but this part, she's just like, Rufus comes in after sleeping on his shoes and his shoe, rubbing the shoe.
Rubbing the shoe. That's why is he rubbing the fucking shoe?
No, he liked that shoe.
Why not, like?
And then Bethany is like, oh, Rufus, I want you to meet my new friend, Barry. And Barry's like, did it? I mean, Bartleby's like, did it? It's Rufus the prophet, or the apostle.
Apostle, yeah.
Jay wakes up at this point. He's sleeping on
I didn't come and you Peter.
He goes, I didn't come and you Peter swear. I fucking love that. It's like, it breaks up the little tension there. And I was like, what? Did he just say he didn't come and Peter? And again, it's a callback to him being like, I'm thinking about guys. So many films can, like, that's how simple it is to do a little bit of a callback. That's how simple it is to have your audience, be involved in the film, to have those little bits of callback. Because if you don't have them, your audience just got to sit there and go, bleh, it's just mindless. But keeping their attention.
Yeah, it's almost like a little reward for paying attention.
Exactly.
And, you get the little in-joke.
Yes, it's the in-joke. Even though that's funny by itself, you get it from what has said.
It's another level, yeah.
Exactly. So she gets thrown to the after, like, Ben Affleck loves going for her jugular, right? With like the bottle and then the knife.
What? Do you not like
whatever he's into?
Right, I know, right? Like Army Hammer. Do you hear about Army Hammer?
Yeah. Woo.
He likes eating people.
What?
Ooh.
Have you not heard about Army Hammer?
Okay, after this, go Google Army Hammer.
Okay, Army Hammer. He likes eating
after
people. Sorry, yeah, after this, look up Army Hammer. Type in Army Hammer. Allegedly is a cannibal. Allegedly, by his own admission. Allegedly.
Right.
So,